Hi, in today's quick video I want to show you how I made these cards. Now I've already done some and I've just got one to do with you. So these cards are a mixture of, they're going to be for my team, and one of them is going to be for my cousin who recently threw herself out of a plane for Macmillan. So I want to say congratulations to her and send her some money for her fundraising. So the stamp set that I've used is my ever popular Floral essence, and I've used this one big stamp here, the kind of outlined stamp if you like. And what I've done is I've stamped that stamp using real red ink, which I've got here, and then I've coloured it in with a real red light blend. So that's all I've done. Then I've stamped the leaves from the same stamp set in Pear Pizzazz. And there is a punch that goes with this stamp set for this leaf. It's in our annual catalogue. And there's also a punch for this flower. And if you buy the punch for the flower with the stamp set at the same time, you save 10%. But the punch that cuts this leaf out is already in the annual catalogue. And then I've cut some little silver pieces using my ScanNCut. And then when you open the card, I've put a plain white piece of paper as an insert, and I've stamped the outline of the flower again to tie it all in. And I've stamped For You, which is from A Wish for Everything, but you know, within this set there are greetings that you could use, but I didn't want to use those for my team cards. And again, I've just stamped them on a piece of card that's 3/8 of an inch wide, and I've stamped it in the Pear Pizzazz, and I've popped it up on a 3D foam pad, and then I've stamped the envelope to match. So each one of my team is going to get one of these. And then I'm going to show you how to do one of them using Congratulations, which is going to be from the stamp set Onto Adventure. And this one's going to be for my cousin. So to save a little bit of time, I'll give you the dimensions and tell you what I've done so far, because these sizes are not sizes that I would normally use. So I've cut a piece of silver mirror board or foil card, whatever you want to call it, and this is cut at 3 1/4 by 5 inches. And then with my new paper trimmer, or you could use your Simply Scored, whatever you want, I've turned this over, and on the back side I've scored it at 1/2 inch on all 4 sides, and that's just given me the little raised effect that you can see there. Then I've taken a piece of Pear Pizzazz Designer Series paper from one of our subtle stacks, and I've cut this at 2 inches by 3 3/4, and then I've just applied that with some snail just to save some time. So that's my layer. My flowers, as I say, I've stamped in real red onto Whisper White regular cardstock, and I've coloured them in with a real red blend. My 2 leaves again are stamped on Whisper White cardstock using Pear Pizzazz, and that's how they stamp. They are a solid leaf stamp, so I've not had to colour those in. And then I've got my 2 bits of sprigs I've cut in silver from my ScanNCut. But if you look in the Stampin' Up catalogue, there are dies and punches that you could cut, you know, some kind of foliage with. I've got my Whisper White thick cardstock, which I've cut directly down the middle on the short side. I'm just going to bring in my trimmer, and I'm going to score this at 5 7/8 using the scoring blade. Then I'm just going to fold it in half and burnish it with my bone folder. Put that on one side. I've got a piece of white copy paper that I'm going to chop 1/4 inch off one long side and one short side. This is going to be my insert. So I'm just lining up the paper to the 1/4 inch mark on the right hand side, chopping that off, and then I'm going to cut this in half at 4 inches. So I've got 2 inserts now from that one piece. I'm not going to use a bone folder on this, I'm just going to fold it in half and put that on one side. So let's start assembling the card. So here's my card. I'm going to use some snail on the back of here and position this, you know, fairly centrally onto my card, like so. Then I'm going to take one of my flowers and apply some snail, and I'm just going to position this flat down here. I'm going to bring in one of my others and I'm going to bring in some dimensionals, and I'm just going to put a couple of dimensionals on the back of the flower. I'm not putting them too near the edge because I want to be able to tuck, you know, my foliage and my leaves in. And then I'm just going to position this so it slightly overlaps. Then I'm going to bring in my wet glue. You could use glue dots for this, it's entirely up to you, whatever you want. I'm just going to apply some wet glue just on the bottom of this bit of foliage, and I'm going to tuck it in and then just hold it down for a minute till it grabs. And I'm going to do the same with the leaf. You don't need a lot. And I'm going to pop that one in there like so, and then I'm going to do the same at the bottom. As I say, you could use snail, you could use glue dots, whatever you want. I just tend to prefer to use wet glue for things like this, but you know, personal preference. Just going to hold those down for a few minutes until the glue starts to grab. And you'll see that's how we're looking so far. Now I've cut a piece of Whisper White regular that is 3 inches wide. It doesn't matter about the length, as long as it's long enough for your greeting. I'm going to bring in my Pear Pizzazz ink, and I just want the congratulations. I don't want the other line underneath. So I'm just going to tap I may have to cut this a bit wider, but we'll see. In fact, I might mask it off. Let's see how we're doing. Oh, that's okay actually, that's fine. I've not got any of the bottom half of it, so I'll just put that down for a minute. And just let that dry. Then I'm going to bring in my Real Red. I've got my flower already mounted up. I'm just going to ink up the flower. I'm going to stamp off and then just stamp inside in the bottom corner. So that's how that's looking. And then for the envelope, I'm going to ink it up again, and I'm just going to put it in the corner full strength so it all ties in. I'm just going to get rid of the ink. So that's the envelope. So now I'm going to apply some snail just on the top of here. I'm going to pop this inside. And because I've cut 1/4 of an inch off it on the long and short side. When you open it, it just sits inside nicely with a tiny little border. And then there's the envelope. And then I'm just going to bring in my greeting and some scissors. I'm just going to trim this down ever so slightly and just flag the ends. So I'm just going to cut up to the middle as far as I want. It's not vital. If you've got a punch, you could probably use one of your punches to do this. I find it just as easy to do it with. And this one, because this is longer, I actually might trim that down. And put this across. So I'm just going to put a couple of dimensionals on this end near the flag, and I'm going to use the minis for this. Got dimensional papers stuck to me, and I'm going to put a little bit of wet glue just on this end because it's going to sit over the flower, and I'm going to position that, I think something like that. So if you're new to card making, I've got glue on this end because this is flat, and I've got dimensionals on this end because this is raised up. So that's how that's looking now. And then I think just to finish this off, I'll bring in my wink of Stella and just put a little bit of wink of Stella just on the middle of the flowers, and you're probably not going to be able to see that, but it does sparkle. So that's my card. So I've got a matching card and an envelope. This one says congratulations, as I said, opens it up and it all matches. And then here are all the other ones for my team that have been made the same way, and they all say for you. So that's just literally 2 colours of ink, a bit of silver card, a bit of coloured paper, and you've got, you know, a set of great looking cards all made with floral essence. And I just think this set is so versatile. I'll just show you a couple of others that you may have already seen me make. This was floral essence. This was using this flower. And this was some designer series paper, or my own background designer series paper I made using the same set. So if you look, you know, you've got completely different styles of card all made with the same versatile set. So I hope you like that project. Please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you don't already do so, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you.